Money and elections play a big role. Some would say increase in money would translate to higher votes. This has unfortunately been a culture in Sri Lanka. But however, with the enactment of the campaign finance legislation, also known as the Regulation for Election Expenditure Act in Sri Lanka of 2023, this culture is regulated to a certain extent, where candidates have a ceiling on how much they can spend, which ensures that everybody has an equitable playing field when it comes to campaigning. Election expenditure is a crucial element which determines a candidate's success, but this should not be an element that should be used to the detriment of the public and to mislead the public. Campaigning should be accessible to all. Everybody should have a chance to campaign on an equal footing. If one candidate has access to more finance than another candidate and there is no expenditure limits, this will affect how voters cast their votes, because one candidate will be able to get their message across to a much larger audience than another candidate. Secondly, how these funds are coming in. After a candidate is able to secure a certain number of votes and get into parliament or a position of power, he then would be under an obligation to support the individuals that provided assistance for his campaign expenditure. This again will put a burden on the public and will prevent us from accessing services and getting access to the resources that we should rightfully have access to. Hence, campaign finance actually plays a very big role when it comes to elections, and it is important for us to understand how this money is obtained and how much money has been spent on elections, because that will let us know what we could expect when a person comes into power and whether there are any conflicts of interest. So candidates cannot spend infinite amounts of money. Hence, this also translates in two ways for voters. One is it allows us to know how much our candidates have spent on their election expenditure. And number two is it also lets us know who are the donors that have provided assistance to candidates at the election campaigning. So we would have an understanding of the relationships between people helping them and their campaign expenditure. So hence we will get to know our candidates better. We, the public, through this act will be able to make a more informed decision.